If you guys like what we do here, we just cover news stories, have conversations, get you through a couple of hours of your day. So if you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. All right, so EA confirms the next Battlefield title will launch before April of 2026, okay? EA has confirmed in its latest financial statement that they plan to launch the next Battlefield title before April 1st, 2026. Wouldn't it be great if they launched it on April 1st, 2026? And they're like, just kidding. You thought we were making a Battlefield game? Okay. So in its quarter 3 fiscal year 2025, the results of the company said EA unveiled the Battlefield Labs, a new invitation allowing players. Can I just, I don't know if you guys saw this, side note real fast. Okay. Because this is hilarious to me. This is a side note. Okay. Let me go to my Discord here. Let me go to general chat. I took a screenshot. This screenshot right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. You know what? Maybe we'll do it in a different tab. Okay. Because this makes me laugh. I took a screenshot yesterday, okay? It says, your number in line is 1,322,047, okay? Number of users in line ahead of you is 10,025. It says an estimate time, 20 minutes, okay? This is like waiting for the cable guy, right? Any of you guys ever wait for the cable guy? They're like, yeah, we'll be here sometime between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Make sure you're home. And if you miss it, if you miss the opportunity, you have to wait in the queue line yet again. Okay, I digress, though. Let's move back into the story. Okay, EA's fiscal year takes place between April 1st, 2025 and March 31st of 2026. Logically and historically, this means that the next Battlefield title is targeting an October to November 2025 release. Earlier this week, EA announced Battlefield Labs, a brand new community test environment, and the test of the game ahead of its final release. At the moment, it seems like Battlefield Labs will focus on titles. Multiplayer offering of Battlefield is also poised to have a free-to-play Battle Royale experience by Ripple Effect. Fantastic. I can't wait, sarcasm. I can't wait for a Battlefield game to have a Battle Royale to really be that competitive game that we were looking for. Also announced, a behind-the-scenes preview of Battlefield Labs was a return of Battlefield Portal, which was the first introduction in Battlefield 2042, and brings back classic maps, vehicles, weapons, and more. Okay, the next Battlefield title is set to take the franchise back to its roots. Back to its roots of making a game. Okay, approach taking the majority of inspiration from Battlefield's most popular days with Battlefield 3 and 4. Modern combat and classic system and destruction are all poised to return. Can I just say, the roots and when it was the most popular is not the same thing. The roots is Battlefield 1942. The most popular was Battlefield 3, okay? So Battlefield will now be led by Respawn Entertainment's Vince Zampella as part of the franchise restructuring following Battlefield 2042's weak launch. Disastrous. Can we not say weak launch? Disastrous launch, because it sold. It sold, but it was disastrous. So let's go to the second article, which is talking about EA boss is willing to move Battlefield release date to account for the year related to the competition, GTA 6. Okay, so 2025 looks stacked year for AAA video games. Not only do we launch the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games to contend with, but also got a list of big hitters set for later in 2025, such as Borderlands 4. I totally forgot about Borderlands 4 coming out this year. Okay, Mafia, The Old Country, right? Ghosts of Yotei, and there's also inevitable new Call of Duty from Activision, no doubt, set for October or November, of course, because that's where it's been the entire time, okay? But with the big one in Rockstar's guaranteed behemoth is Grand Theft Auto 6, which is still down for release in fall of 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, but will it be delayed? Parent company Take-Two is so far sticking to the fall 2025 release window, but it's uncertainly coupled with other huge shooters coming out, and this means EA's Battlefield may face a tricky job carving out some of the space for itself. This sounds like it's going to be a disastrous launch for them again. I can't remember, and maybe you guys can remember. Was it Halo that blamed Battlefield, or was it Battlefield that blamed Halo for the poor sales or the poor interaction? I think it was Halo blaming Battlefield, right? Let me know in the comments section. Let me know in the chat. Okay, EA has the next Battlefield down for 2026 fiscal year, which means before April 2026, that's prime GTA 6 territory right there, and maybe even prime Call of Duty Borderlands 4 territory. I can't imagine Take-Two doing a 1-2 combo of Borderlands 4 and GTA within months of each other. I can't, okay? I think Borderlands 4 gets like a summer launch, and then GTA gets that September, October launch, right? So, but we'll see. It says so much that EA have considered releasing dates for competing games when it comes to working out when it launches Battlefield. A fair bit EA CEO Andrew Wilson, or as we call him, Android Wilson, admitted to recent financial calls and may also be willing to delay Battlefield if it has to. I don't see a good scenario for this for Battlefield, okay? Because Battlefield usually does well at that time frame where it usually launches around August, September, October type of stuff. Now, Grand Theft Auto is coming around that, okay? It's coming around that time. If they delay Battlefield past the point and into early next year, I think you have a big problem because there's other games are going to come out. February is a packed every year. Every single year, February is a packed month for games coming out. Okay, so that's like the last-ditched effort for everybody to get their game out that they wanted into that fiscal year in February. That's why so many games come out in February. Okay, even though it's the new year for us, it's the end of the year financially for the company. And if it doesn't get delayed to next February, okay, and it does come out during that time frame of Call of Duty, if it comes out during Grand Theft Auto 6, you have a Titanfall situation going on here where it gets sandwiched between these giant games and it gets left in the dust. But here's the thing. At least you have the holiday season to kind of make up for stuff, because once the holiday season ends and you get into January, February, lots of people seize up their wallets. You know what I mean? Wallet stays in the pants, pocketbooks stays shut. Nobody's really spending money for the broader audience. Obviously, the people like you and me who are avid gamers, February is a big month to spend. But a lot of people, normal people that play video games but don't get every single game, their pocketbooks and stuff are closed. So I think, in my opinion, it's almost better to launch it after Grand Theft Auto, between Call of Duty and after Grand Theft Auto, than to go into February because you lose all that holiday sales, right? The spontaneous buys and whatnot. Because if the game is good, first of all, we already know that Battlefield doesn't sell anywhere close to what Call of Duty sells. So instead of competing against Call of Duty, and again, this is my opinion, instead of Battlefield competing with Battlefield or Call of Duty, they have to compete with themselves and with the past Battlefields. The best Battlefield ever to sell was 14 million copies, which I believe was Battlefield 3. Maybe it was Battlefield 4. Okay, I would have to look it up. Okay, but for the most part, Bad Company sold, I think it's like 8 or 9 million, and then you had Battlefield 3 or 4 sold 14 or 12 respectively. Okay, that's the highest it's ever sold. So since that point, Battlefield 1, Battlefield V, Battlefield 2042, they've come anywhere close to those numbers. So as long as they beat those numbers, that's a success for Battlefield, right? But we'll see what happens when it comes out. So it certainly exists in competitive marketplace, Wilson said. It responds to a question from the analyst on the exact topic. It says, I've had great fortune to be in the company for 25 years, and we've done a great job competing for all the great franchises over time. He continues by saying, this is being said, we invested more into Battlefield than any Battlefield before, which means they're spending way more money than they've ever spent on any Battlefield before this. Okay, we have 4 studios that we have a meaningful amount of time. We're looking forward to doing this, the biggest Battlefield we've ever made. Biggest Battlefield we've ever made. Does that mean on day one, or does that mean across the next 3 to 4 years? It's the biggest Battlefield. And we've also, of course, want to make sure that we launch it into a window where we can deliver the fullest and promise what Battlefield can be grown and the community is the level of with size of game that we're making. Now, here's the thing. Like I just said, if Battlefield comes out between GTA and Call of Duty, that game has to be finished. If this game comes out and is broke, buggy, unfinished, like 5 was, okay, like Battlefield 2042 was, this game is dead in the water. If it comes out and it's a well-polished game, working very well, but it's missing content, right, because they want to make it a live service or whatnot, and they're bringing the content for over the next year, to me, that's also a fail. Okay, they have to put enough in this game at the very beginning, sort of like when I talk about Marvel Rivals and other games, put as many heroes in the beginning of the game as possible for the most, for the biggest wow factor. That's what Battlefield has to do. You're working with 4 studios, okay, all hands on deck. This Battlefield has to come out and it has to be pristine. It's got to go back to what they said, the roots. It has to feel like Battlefield and it has to be complete. If it's not complete, it's an L for me, okay? It's an L for the game. It has to come out perfect, not small little, well, all we put was a Battle Royale game and Conquest, and that's it. No, it has to come out, single-player campaign. It's got to be flawless, not glitchy, buggy, okay? And it has to be really well received. Only then is it successful, and then they can add stuff to it, and then people will be excited. Okay, so it says, he continues by saying, I do believe that this year might be the year relative of competition, and there also be some things happening this year that may cause us to think differently about the launch timing. We have a fiscal year of 26 launch window that is the team is targeting. And we believe that the game will be great and ready at the time. At what time? End of this year or the beginning of next year? Okay. They're testing it right now with the labs. We believe the game will also be great and ready at the time, but we also closed at the time frame we believe that wasn't going to be a great window for us, and then we would take a look at the alternate window. It might be as also to give it an appropriate time, energy, and player acquisition opportunity for Battlefield to be all it needs to be. Well, you better hope. You better hope. So as we stand, the new Battlefield will be out before April of 2026. Let's say November of 2025. Battlefield 2042 came out in November of 2021. Battlefield 5 came out in November of 2018. What if GTA launches in or around then? Perhaps EA will respond, push Battlefield back to the first quarter of 2026, still making its fiscal year. But what if it tends to release Battlefield quarter 1 2026 already, and then Rockstar announces GTA 6 delay to quarter 1 2026? Could they bring Battlefield forward? Or maybe it would in the case that push Battlefield out of the fiscal year and into the next. That would also be a big decision. But based on Wilson's comments, something like EA is prepared for. So here's another thing, right? So let's say GTA does come out and say, hey, we're coming out in September. And everyone's like, yeah, sweet, September. Then Rockstar kind of baits people. And then everybody else kind of puts their ducks in a row. And then all of a sudden, Rockstar, because we've seen it, so many other games get pushed back that have a hard date, and then all of a sudden it gets pushed back. Avowed, Starfield did it. What's it called? Assassin's Creed Shadows did it. Lots of games get pushed back after they announce their time. So let's say Rockstar announces their time, Battlefield announces their time, and then all of a sudden Rockstar says, just kidding, we're coming back, we're pushing it back to November. You're like, oh shit, like what do they do? Okay, so it'd be interesting to see what happens. And again, we've talked about this for weeks, months, years. When Grand Theft Auto comes, everyone's going to move and shift, right? It's like a giant hurricane storm coming towards the gaming industry. Not because it's like the latest, greatest game. It's just, it's one of these games. It's like a generation game that comes out, right? The last game came out 12, 13 years ago. So it says you can see why EA has heard and many other third-party publishers are holding their breath as they wait for Rockstar to announce the news for entire industry is hanging on. GTA 6 release date, once it's out and open, whether it's the fall as planned or delayed to 2026, all other pieces will fall, no doubt, into place. Sure. Here's another thing they could do. Maybe they have, and I said I don't think they're going to put Borderlands and Grand Theft Auto in the same area, but what about if they kind of push Grand Theft Auto back a little bit more and then push Borderlands 4 maybe in that September slot, August, September, and then you push Grand Theft Auto into that November slot? Then they pretty much got it covered, right, for that second half. But we'll see what happens. Look, I want Battlefield as much as I give Battlefield shit. As we watched Kingard's video yesterday, constructive criticism and toxicity. I'm in between those two with Battlefield. I love Battlefield series. It's one of my favorite games of all time as far as just fun. I've been playing every single one, okay? I love bits and pieces of every single one except Hardline. I hate Hardline because it's not a Battlefield game, in my opinion. But I want this franchise to be arise again, right? I want it to be like the Jesus Christ moment where it's coming back to relevance. At least for the Battlefield people, not for the industry itself. I could care less if it sells 20 million copies. I just want Battlefield to be a best Battlefield game that they can make. And with 4 studios behind it, that's what I'm rooting for. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of the other videos. Thanks for watching.